It's just the dampener, like the dampening effect is so much better. Yeah, I don't know nothing about suspension, come on, I'm just chatting. So, suspension. As you know, this is a Mark 4 Golf platform slash Audi TT, Mark 1 Audi TT. I've driven this car with quite a few suspension setups now. So I'll start with the stock suspension setup. I've driven the stock car, you can see in the previous video. I had 2 of these cars, it's already sold before you ask. So the stock suspension is amazing for daily driving. If you just want a comfortable car that you just want to drive, you don't want your back hurting, stock suspension is amazing. Honestly, for daily driving it's perfect, but it's a bit bolty. I mean, it wasn't designed for bad Eastern European roads, so obviously it's the car's sitting quite high and it's bolty. Especially if you've got an empty car, you can feel how high it is, and it just wallows around the corners. So yeah, that's stock suspension for you. It is what it is. A normal suspension. This car was never designed to be performance oriented. So this car actually came with a KWV 1s or 2s, not sure when I bought it. I bought the car in 2018 or 19, not sure, and the car was sitting outside my house while I was fixing it for about 2.5 years, 3 years. So when I finally got the car on the road, obviously the suspension was shot. When I started driving it, the car just sagged so much straight away, so I knew there's something wrong with the suspension. The car handled like on rails, but it was way too low, so I wanted to jack it up a bit because I was scraping on every speed bump, everything. So I took the wheels off and I had a look at the front clock rings, set rings, sorry, and they were all cracked. I was like, oh, that's not good. So I was looking at if I can rebuild the coilover. The cost for rebuilding them coilovers was ridiculous. So at the time I just needed to get some quick, and to replace KWV 1s or 2s are always above £1,000. So I was like, I can't do that at the time. So what I did was, I made a big mistake. I bought Pro Sport coilover suspension. Yeah, it was £200 and something, and it was the worst thing I've ever done to this car. So where do I start? Didn't have the funds to buy something better, so I bought the Pro Sport kit. And as soon as it came and I opened the box, I knew it was just cheap garbage. So when I was putting the Pro Sport suspension in, I put in new top mounts, all the bushes new, to make sure I can get the best result as I can. It was my first time installing suspension into a car, so I really didn't know what I was doing, but I was watching all the tutorials, and then I had the mechanics check over the car after. So straight out of the box, the rear dampers, I squeezed them at the same time. One was a lot harder to press than the other one, and they rebounded at a different rate. So I was like, that's not good. But I was like, I need to put this on the car because I needed the car to drive to work. I was like, great, what do I do now? So put all the suspension in. One of the front coilovers had a little tiny rust spot on it from the box, and the other one was a bit swollen, so we didn't want to get in the knuckle quite easily. So after I've installed the Pro Sport suspension all around, I've expected the car to sag, obviously, new suspension setting in. So I drove around for about a week, jacked it up a bit, and then again, and again, and again, until I was at the maximum set at the back, and the car was still squatting at the back. Oh yeah, within a week I replaced the rear shocks with some TRWs, which is quite well-known brand for the rear shocks. So I replaced them because the back was so bouncy, you couldn't drive it. It was any bump and you see the back hopping. I was like, that's not good. So straight away, within a week, I replaced the rear shocks. So I got politely asked to leave that spot, so the rest of this video is going to be in a POV view. I'll post loads of pictures of the suspension that I've used. So where did I got interrupted? So yeah, the race shocks, replaced them straight away. They're absolutely horrific. I'm not any expert, but even I knew that's not right. So straight away, swapped them shocks. It was so much better straight away. One day I was doing something in the back, took the wheel off, and I noticed that the race springs got the paint chipped on the coil. Then I realised that the spring's actually colliding with itself. So straight away I've emailed a message to the seller who I got the springs from. He got back to me real quick. He obviously asked, do you have anything in the back of your car, or did you overweight the suspension? I was like, no, the car, I've been driving the car empty, it must be in the boot. So he forwarded that to the manufacturer. Apparently that's normal. So I'm glad I've kept the race springs from the KW kit, because that's what's in now. Those springs, I don't know how old they are, they've rusted, the paint's spilling off them, but they work so much better than the Pro Sport springs. So in the race suspension, the only thing that's remaining from a Pro Sport kit is the set ring, you know, the height adjustment, nothing else. Let's get to the front. Front coilovers are a little bit better than the back, but not ideal, let's say. So they're quite stiff. Only one of the spanners that came to adjust it fits. Other one is, I don't know what for. Doesn't fit to the front or the back. No matter how you try it, it just does not fit. So within like 3 weeks, I started hearing knock from the front. Opened the bonnet, and I've noticed that the where the cap is for the top mounts, there's a space where you can actually fit your finger. It was about a centimetre gap. So I got told to put in a genuine top mount, which I did, but bear in mind I've already replaced top mounts when I was installing the kit at the first time. So did that, put a new nice top mount in. Let's see, another 3 weeks passed, 2-3 weeks, about, don't know how many miles, same thing started happening. Took it to an alignment place that specialised in installing suspension. They basically laughed at me, saying that you get what you pay for, you just bought a shit kit. The front suspension is so harsh that it just destroys the top mounts. I was like, great. So no matter what top mounts I put in, it always just destroyed it. And the last time I was replacing the top mount, the Allen key on top of the coilover is actually stripped. So I have no idea how I'm going to loosen that up. So I was like, great. So the front coilovers are still in, the Pro Sport ones. I mean, they're on its high setting, and you saw how low the car is. It's not too low, but as soon as you've got 4 adults in there, the car's quite low. It's a shame, but before I was buying it, I actually had a Google around. There was no bad reviews about it, but this is just my experience. So I saved up, managed to find an open box deal for STXTA coilovers, and that's what we be going in. I got high hopes for them. So all I need to do is loosen at the top, but this is where the issues start. This side is not that bad, the other side was way worse. The Allen key is not a specific size, it's just a pain. But these are the spaces I was talking about before, because the thread on these is too short, like it's not, so it doesn't matter how much you tighten, and you still end up with a gap. Yeah, sick design this by Pro Sport. So I made these spaces out of some thick foam, and it worked pretty well. This is the third set of top mounts I've used on this car, because it was kept chewing through them because of that gap. If you do not buy this shit, and especially the drop links, absolute garbage. The quality between them is a night and day. Well, let's say you spend 250 quid You pay some another about £200-300 to install these. 3 months down the line, you need top mount replacing, so that's another 50 quid, plus another 50 quid in labour to get that done. You're already at 350 to £400. No, sorry, about £600 already to have this installed, top mounts replaced after a few months. So a few months after that, keeps going, keeps happening. You have to get that done again, and alignment after every single time. Just go ahead and get something nicer. You don't have to go as expensive as these, and go some like a what was the brand I was meant to buy before. I'll post a picture on because I was meant to buy something else before this, but this popped up as an open box still, so I bought this instead. I paid £650 from original about £1,400, which is a pretty good deal in my opinion. So yeah, definitely don't buy these. Absolute nightmare. These are on the top setting, as you can see, and they bottom out, almost bottom out. Honestly, the ride is so harsh. Yeah, and that has vibrated its way through the top mount, because the top mount's supposed to be between the bearing and the screw, oh, the bolt, sorry. But yeah, obviously these are so harsh that they destroy the top mount. These actually don't have top mounts, these are got them included into this. A lot nicer kit. So what you do, you unscrew these. This is also your camber adjustment. Don't know how I'm going to do this one-handed, but we'll try. So you shove that through. See how it's offset? So you turn the entire shock a bit to adjust your camber, and then the little hole, there's a little key you put in, and you can adjust your rebound, which is quite handy. I would say they're a little bit heavier than these, but obviously there's so much more going on inside this than that. But they couldn't even stick the sticker on straight, it's crooked. It's absolutely shocking. I'm pretty sure these are leaked out as well, because there's oil everywhere. I got no oil leaking, but there's oil everywhere, absolutely everywhere. So, great. From the Pro Sport kit, the only thing that remained is this. That's it. This is KW. This is TRW. So there's nothing left from the Pro Sport kit. Even the drop links are Moog. Yeah. Shambles. Come on, there you go. There we go. So, but this is quite stuck up there, so hammer time. Easy peasy. I'm not sure if I'm keeping this bit or not, so I know I'm keeping this as it is now. I'll just clean it up, but I don't know about the top. This is the KW spring, and this is the ST spring. but some of you will know that ST coilovers is actually made by KW. And if you look at this closely, they are exactly the same spring. This is just about 5 years on it. This is a brand new one. Yeah, they're identical springs. Oh. There we go. Wasn't that bad actually. So the TRW is actually a bit bigger than the ST one. ST one's a bit fatter and rebounds a lot quicker than the TW. But actually the TRW one more because just the dust shield is a bit bigger, so it protects the shaft a bit more. So I think they should have just made the dust cover tiny bit bigger, like it's on the TRW. It just looks better. The ST coilover is, I mean, the shock absorber is fatter, rebounds quicker, but I think this one will have a longer lifespan than this one just because of that dust shield. So the car's currently on the ST coilovers, which are made by KW. So, and what can I say? You get what you pay for. No, buy cheap, buy twice. I didn't learn my lesson the first time, and there you go. They are just amazing. What can I say? Obviously the ride is harsher than stock suspension. We can adjust the dampness, the ride height. You can just get different springs. So I'm running the same height as I ran on the Pro Sports, but the Pro Sports were just solid. Honestly, you felt every vibration, every pebble in the road you felt. This feels sturdier and there's not as many vibrations coming in. It's just the dampener, like the dampening effect is so much better. You also get this rebound adjusting thing. It's both sides. You can even get adjustable rebound on the rear shocks, but I don't have them. I just got regular shocks. Even adjusting the coilovers is quite easy. You just loosen that little screw of the Allen key, and then you just twist it, and the threads are amazing. So bit of WD-40 and you can turn it by hand. You don't even need the key to, you know, the spanner to turn it. I'm just regretting I didn't buy these sooner. It would have saved me so much time and money. Honestly, the old coilovers went through 3 sets of top mounts, 2 alignments that I wasted on them. Just wasn't worth it. But yeah, finally got some proper stuff. The scariest thing about the Pro Sport coilover was the back bouncing. That's why in the back I had nothing from the Pro Sport kit left, apart from the height adjustment, because it was just dangerous, that kit. No matter how much weight you had in the back, or you had nothing in the back was always bouncing, then it started sagging. I even had the adjustable Pro Sport drop links. Avoid, honestly, the threads just stripped on them. So yeah, spend the money, do it properly, avoid the cheap stuff. The car is actually not pain in the ass to daily drive anymore. On the old suspension, you just felt like you just needed a spine replacement every time you took a drive. Got the rebound set to, I think, the middle setting now, so 2 or 3, I'm not sure now. And I think it's just like a good balance for daily driving. But the car, slowly but surely, is coming together. I just need to get a good alignment, a solid tune. Yeah, exhaust. I noticed I got a hairline crack in the downpipe, so exhaust might be coming soon. But yeah, that then, in the other suspension, you really had to hold onto the steering wheel because it would just snap out. Not snap out, but like yank your steering wheel out of your hand. it was getting to the point where the car was dangerous to drive. It just kept wearing out all the bushes. You couldn't tighten all the bolts because the threads were stripped. It's just one of them. Honestly, I preferred the stock suspension over the Pro Sport coilovers. You actually knew what to expect from the car. So if you have any questions, post them in the comments below. I'll try my best to answer them.